So basically, this is a slight addition to what we've already discussed about Krishna. So generally, our concept that we know about Krishna is that he is covered by Maya. He's covered by yogamaya, and that is why in spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, he doesn't consider himself to be God. He's just thinking, oh, Yashoda Maya is running after me, I have to run. Now, what Maya has to say about this is, I mean, she told me this literally, is that I didn't cover my brother at all. Like, I don't cover my brother. His basic nature is what he is. Now, I do, kind of not reveal certain aspects to him. Like, I don't tell him where Yashodamai is hiding, or if Yashodamai has got a stick in her hand and she's ready to beat him up or something like that. So she is actually hiding certain aspects from Krishna, but she doesn't essentially kind of hide Krishna's very own basic nature. She doesn't alter any of the natures. She doesn't kind of tinker with that. Krishna's basic nature is that he's a small kid. Yogamaya herself is a small kid. She is ecstatic, like Nityanand Prabhu. She's completely crazy, ecstatic, and she's running around doing things like that. Now, she controls the entire universe. Everything she controls, but she doesn't think that's a big deal. It's like playing with a Barbie doll for her. She doesn't think that controlling the universe is something big. She thinks, oh, that's what I do. I mean, it's like playing with a doll for her. Playing with Krishna, playing with the universe, there's no difference for her. In the same way, Krishna also, for him, playing with Mother Yashoda or becoming a Paramatma in the hearts of millions of souls, or playing in Kurukshetra or doing anything, there is no difference for him. Like, he doesn't consider the other acts to be huge, like something big or some mature act. He considers even that to be a part of his game. Oh, I became the Paramatma and I'm hiding inside all the living entities. He knows he's got superpowers, but that doesn't change his very nature. His nature is he's actually a little kid. Yogamaya doesn't change that. In fact, Yogamaya covers Narayan. That's what she covers. Because who is Narayan? Narayan is not the essential nature of Narayan. Krishna is the essential nature of Narayan. Narayan is Krishna himself, who's thinking he's Narayan. That's where covering happens. You get my point? She essentially changes his nature. He starts thinking, I'm the Lord and I'm supposed to do this. But essentially, it's Krishna who's covered by a kind of yogamaya layer. And then Narayan is kind of somebody else other than his true nature. That's the kind of covering that she does with Narayan. Tava eva maya. There's a verse where Sridhar Swami comments, and then there's a whole lot of controversy that happens. But there is a secret understanding to that verse, Tava eva maya, where he says even Narayan is a product of Maya. It's not product of Maya. It's like he's covered by Maya actually. So Maya is also, affecting Narayan, because Narayan is actually Krishna. But she's changing his essential nature by covering him, and oh, I am now Narayan. I'm a grown-up man. I'm a mature man. But the reality, the essential nature of Krishna as he is, the original nature is Krishna. There is no covering of Maya in that, actually speaking. Even Brahman, there is Maya, because she's actually covering the Chit and the Ladini aspects, the Asat aspects. The Sat aspect is Brahman, and the Chit and Ananda aspect is an integral part of Krishna. You cannot change it from him, but you can cover that aspect. Chit and Ananda, when it's covered, then Krishna essentially becomes kind of like, just the Sat aspect is revealed. A partial aspect of Krishna is revealed, and that becomes Brahman. Only existence part of Krishna is revealed. Actually, Krishna's forms are not just Sat. They are Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sandini is not Krishna's form. Sandini plus Samvit plus Ladini is Krishna's form. Sat, Chit, Ananda Vigraha. Why is Krishna's form made up of three energies? Because without emotions, Krishna's forms has no meaning. Because emotions determine what form Krishna takes. Like Jagannath has a particular emotion, then his The emotion controls the thought process of Jagannath, and the thought process controls the body of Jagannath, and Jagannath has a particular form because of the emotions that he's feeling. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a particular form of golden color and a particular kind of a form just because he is in a particular emotion of Srimati Radharani. So forms are very, very integrally connected to emotions. If somehow or the other you are supposed to, like in the material world, everything is dead, and so even if you die, your form still remains. But in spiritual world, it's not like that. Krishna's form is integrally connected to his emotions. In spiritual world, everything is chit, everything is alive, and the forms are spiritual forms. These forms are made from chit and ananda and sat. Sat is the existence, but the existence is molded by Chit and Ananda. So if Chit and Ananda were supposed to be pratishiddha, or they were supposed to be blocked by some sort of avidya, then what would appear is Brahmajarshanam. You just see existence, everything, because existence is everywhere. You just see existence, dead existence. Without Amrisha, it's like without Ladini Shakti, everything is almost like dead. It's like a dead existence. Everything, the whole universe. But then you don't see any particular form of Krishna. If you're supposed to block Krishna's emotions and Krishna's mind, all you see is his body and his existence, and that would be essentially formless. The secret verse for this is, no, I won't be seeing the secret verses. Should I? Okay, no, I won't say that. It's there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, essentially speaking, Krishna's innate nature, his basic nature is that he's a small little kid, and Yogamaya is a small little girl, and they are like, that's the nature, okay? So when Krishna's, now how does Krishna, if that is Krishna's nature, essential nature, a true uncovered nature, Yogamaya has nothing to do with any covering. That's Krishna who he is. Krishna, Yogamaya doesn't do anything to Krishna. She may not reveal certain things to Krishna, that is fine, like certain things during the Leela, like when Sita is kidnapped, and Ram doesn't know, where did Sita go? He doesn't know, because that's a part of the Leela. If he knows everything, he cannot enjoy things. Now, there's certain things that are kept secret, and she's like the planner for Krishna, and she may not reveal certain things to Krishna, but she doesn't cover Krishna with any sort of covering and make him forget things. That's not what she does. Krishna doesn't forget things like that. Now, if Krishna essential nature is a small little kid and he's afraid of Mother Yashoda, then how come doesn't he know that he's the Supreme Lord, the super soul of all living entities, the controller of all the three worlds? Then how is he getting afraid of Mother Yashoda? The simple example is something like that. It's simply love. It's Ladini. For example, you may be like the Hitler, or you may be like a Napoleon Bonaparte, or some really big guy. But even if you are such a big guy, okay, but if you love your mother and the mother comes running after you with a stick in her hand, that's not going to be like, you're not going to think that I'm going to use a bazooka gun on my mother. He's not going to do that, right? He's still going to run away from his mother. He's like, mother, like, why are you beating me? And even you may be the most powerful person. You may know that you're the most powerful person. You don't have to be covered for that. You get my point. Krishna doesn't need to be covered by Yogamaya to run from Mother Yashoda. He knows that he's the Supreme Lord, but he loves her so much. And he enjoys it anyways, because that's what he wants. That's why Yogamaya arranges those pastimes. And she doesn't tell him about those pastimes. But she doesn't cover Krishna, you see? She doesn't cover Krishna. She doesn't make him forget anything. No, that she doesn't do. His essential nature is that he's a little kid and he's running away for Yashoda. He's afraid of her. He loves her and he's running away. All of these things is essential nature, uncovered nature of Krishna. Yogamaya does not cover Krishna. She's not covering Krishna. She's covering Narayan. She's not covering Krishna. So, when Krishna is running away, he's thinking, my mom is going to beat me. I'm the Lord of the universe. I can do anything I want, but I can't do anything. My mom is going to beat me. He even tries his superpowers on her sometimes. He opens his mouth and he puts a few universes within the mouth, all of existence, everything inside the mouth. And then Yashoda Maya gets bewildered. She gets sad. And then Krishna is like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like her being sad, So, again, he's like, he knows ultimately after a lot of pastimes that nothing is going to work with Mother Yashoda. All my superpowers are not going to work. Nothing is going to work. So he's just given up. The best thing I can do is run away from Mother Yashoda. That's the best thing I can do. There's nothing I can do other than that. The best thing I can do is beg from her. So, when devotees like us, we are simple sadhaka devotees, and we know Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead and the supreme, controller of everything. But, when we fight with him, we just literally chastise him. We like, you may be the supreme Lord, and we got to beat the hell out of you right now. If you're going to give us trouble, you're going to get beaten up by us. So we know that he's the supreme Lord, and yet we treat him like a child. We treat him like a so, in spite of knowing that he is the Supreme Lord, if we, the living entities, can treat him like, a small little child, then he himself can do the same thing to himself, right? He can, like, I am Supreme Lord, so what? My devotees are still going to be like, they're still superior to me. They're going to run up. I can't do anything to them. I love them too much. And only thing I can do is beg forgiveness from them. Radharani, I can't do anything. That's his essential nature. He's soft. He cannot do it. He just doesn't want to fight with devotees like that. I mean, of course, he does mischief and stuff like that. But so he knows that this is what I can do, and best thing I can do is run away from Advaita, nothing else. Even though I'm God. So it's not that he doesn't know that he's God. He doesn't know that he's Paramatma. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know that. But he just enjoys, and he doesn't consider those pastimes to be like big and small. You see, this is from our estimation of a living entity within the three modes. We are thinking, oh, being a Paramatma in the heart of the all living entities means it's a great post. It's like an awesome thing. It's like a king. Oh my God, he's like this. He's like. Krishna doesn't consider being a Paramatma and controlling the three universes, millions of universes, every single thing in existence as like something big. He just considers like, I'm playing with my friends, and now I am playing in the heart of all living entities. I'm creating a few universes. So for him, creating a small mud house in his Vrindavan and creating a trillion universes is the same thing for him. It's like, okay, fine, cool. This is just another game, that's all. I'm playing with my friends, and now I'm going to play another game with a few more friends of mine, that's all. Still a kid. He's creating universes as a kid. He's not changed his consciousness that I am not a kid, I am not now a grown-up man. No, then he expands. If that's the consciousness, then he becomes Narayan. But even then, essentially, when he's doing all of these things, he's coming to these universes, taking and talking the Bhagavad Gita and doing everything. He's still a kid at heart. He's stating it's like a small little kid talking big PhD. He knows a lot of things. Small kids can know PhDs. They can have superpowers. There are movies in which small kids have superpowers. They're like really powerful people, and the small kids also have terrific knowledge. Like they can defeat the greatest player in chess. The small little kid. That doesn't mean that the kid he's become a grown up. No, the kid is still a kid. He has all these superpowers. He has got tremendous brain power, Chit Shakti, tremendous Sat Shakti, unlimited energies, Brahman, everything coming from him. So what? That's what Krishna thinks. So what? All these things are coming. So what? I'm still a kid. I'm still, this is how I behave. Yogamaya has made certain rules in the game, and I'm going to follow those rules. I'm not going to break the rules. If I break the rules and everybody follow this, that will happen, this will happen. So I don't break any of the rules. In Bhagavad Gita also says, if I break all these rules, then something will happen. So I don't break the rules, And of course, then sometimes I break the rules. That's different. But generally, he doesn't break the rules. Like, when he deals with his friends, when he deals with everything, he doesn't say that I'm going to use superpowers every now and then. Because then Yogamaya will say, brother, you're going to use your superpowers. This game is not going to work. So he's okay, I'm not going to use my superpowers. I'm going to become normal stuff. So Krishna is still thinking the whole thing to be a game, a leela, a sport, like an ecstatic madman just playing whole thing. Shrishti adikam harir naiva prayojana pekshatu kurute keval ananda yatha matthasya naratanam. Just like a dancing of a little kid who is like totally ecstatic. The whole creation, destruction of all these universes is just like that for him. It's not like he has got some kind of a purpose to achieve or something like that. His purpose is already achieved. The moment he desires something, is already natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to do any karanam, like nama karanam, ceremony or an activity for doing anything. He just thinks about it, it's done. He doesn't have to do anything. So all of these things, actually what's happening, all this creation, is just because he's ecstatic, just because he's overwhelmed with ecstasy, and all these things are happening. So basically, what I can understand from this is that basically this is what I was thinking. My whole point was like, how does Krishna think? Does Krishna forget that he is God when he's running from Yashoda? He doesn't forget that he is God when he's running from Yashoda, actually. But he's like, I'm God, so what? I still have to run. This is the whole concept. He's never covered by yogamaya. He never forgets that I am God or I am something. What Narayan forgets is that he's a kid. That's yogamaya, covering Narayan. And he thinks, he forgets that I am a kid. But sometimes in the heart of hearts, he's still a kid, when the greatest demons and the greatest devotees all come for the greatest problems in the universe to him, and he's like, oh, what is the solution for this? And there's a big GBC meeting going on between Vishnu and all the greatest leaders of the universe, the Lokapalas and the greatest demons. And his solution is, let's just churn the milk and get some butter like Yashoda Maya does for me. Let's just do that. And they're like, how? What do you mean? What's the solution? No, wait a minute. Let's just do this. I've just got an idea. So he's always thinking about Yashoda Maya and his buttermilk and everything, even Vishnu. So he's like, even though he's Vishnu, sometimes he remembers this Krishna thing because he's ultimately Krishna at heart. And then he wants to churn this whole ocean, and then he gets, Vasuki, who in his proper, mature mind would come up with a solution like this? Just imagine that Vasuki had come for a problem solution, a universal problem, and this guy ties Vasuki around and uses him like a rope to churn the ocean, and he uses the two parties, both of them, in a tug of war kind of situation to and churn the ocean and get butter. He wants to see that, how Mother Yashoda is churning the milk, and he wants to just churn the ocean now. Ocean of milk. He actually lies on the ocean of milk. He loves milk so much. So ultimately you'll understand that he's still a kid. He's still that same Krishna who loves butter. Now he's just lying on the ocean of milk, and he's thinking about churning it and getting butter. So at the heart of Vishnu is still small little kid. So he's covered actually by yogamaya. Tava eva maya. Vishnu is actually under yogamaya and thinks that he's Vishnu, but actually he's Krishna. So this is the thought that I was having, how Krishna actually thinks when he does his pastime, seemingly ordinary pastimes, and then he is God. Then how does he do ordinary pastimes? Because from Krishna's point of view, there is nothing like ordinary and extraordinary. Everything is ordinary for him. Creating universes, destroying a million universes, and playing with his covered friends. It's like the same thing. He doesn't think they're like different. He's like, okay, I'm playing here, I'm playing there. And that's it. So that's what he does. And now if he fights with covered boys, how does he get defeated? By his covered friend. So he's like, oh, I am the Supreme Personality of God, I've got this, I've got that. But yogamaya set rules. I have to fight now and I have to do this. So he's like, so he has made yogamaya do certain rules in the game, and he doesn't break those rules. So he can sometimes playing by those rules, he sometimes gets defeated by his friends. So it doesn't mean that he doesn't know that he's God at that point also. He always is conscious of everything, and he can access any information, anything, anytime, any place. Yogamaya never covers anything about Krishna. But the point is his heart, his Ananda Shakti is still a kid. At his heart, he is a kid. No matter what you do, he's still thinking like a kid. He's still behaving like a kid. And that's what bewilders Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahma realizes that, oh my God, the Supreme Lord is actually a kid. He's really a kid. He's not acting like a kid. He actually is a kid. We are all controlled by a small little kid. I can't believe it. I don't think this cannot be God. This cannot be God. This is what bewildered Brahma. When he saw the true nature of God, that God was a kid, a small little boy who thinks like a kid, who behaves like a kid. That is his reality. It's not something like false, or that's not something that's who he is. Vishnu, everything else is basically acting. The real person is actually Krishna. So when Brahmaji sees that, in reality, Krishna's real nature is he's so simple. He's like a kid. He's like, this is what God is like, reality. He gets bewildered. So the whole concept is that Krishna's mind is infinite, his body is infinite, but his heart is so simple. That's Radharani, Nirasta Kuhakam. It's his heart, the way his emotions are, these so simple. He's just like a kid in emotions. And that's the reality about God. Hare Krishna. For him, it's natural to play with his friends and do all these things and play in the material world, hide in the heart of the living entities. It's very natural for him to do those things. It's not like he's, oh, I'm God, I can't play with my friends. No. Krishna naturally feels it's very normal for him, like, knowing that he is God, but no problem with that. Because God and all these concepts, Krishna doesn't think he's great. For him, like being controller of million universes is nothing. It's just like being a covered boy in a different realm. That's all. Nothing else for Krishna. Krishna doesn't consider things as big. He's the biggest of the biggest, but he's the smallest of the smallest. So the whole thing, the way Lord looks at this universe, creation, destruction of multi-universes, and he just thinks of it like another game. That's all. So he's still a kid who's playing multiple games. One game is he's playing with a simple covered boys of Vrindavan with certain rules that yogamaya has decided. You can't use your superpowers in this and this conditions. And as per the game, he plays by those games. And then there are universal rules that yogamaya makes, that you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot come here, you cannot do that. And he plays according to the rules of that universal thing, karma and stuff like that. But even then, he's still playing a game, and he's still playing by the rules of the game. Sometimes he cheats. Otherwise, he's just a game, and he's still the small little kid who's playing multiple games. And for us, certain games, they look, my God, how he's the Supreme Lord. But for him, it's not like that. It's still a small little game created by his kid sister, Yogamaya, and he's still playing those games. That's all. So he's always a child at heart. That's the point I'm trying to say. He knows he has done all these universes, everything, but still he is still a child. He's not acting. There is no acting anywhere. He's still a child at heart. He's really a child at heart. When you have this knowledge about Krishna, so the point is, again, we spoke about this in the other lectures, knowledge generally blocks you from becoming a devotee, because when you know that Krishna is God, then how can you feed him prasad? He can never be hungry, and you feel like that. But when you know the heart of Krishna, only when you know Sat aspect of Krishna, or the Brahman aspect, or the infinite aspect, then you become an impersonalist. But when you know the Chit and the Ananda aspect of Krishna, his heart, his emotions, his thinking power, how does he think? He thinks like a child. Then you don't actually, your bhakti is not impeded. Jnana karma anavrit. That bhakti doesn't get avrit, doesn't get covered by jnana and karma, basically. Jnana cannot cover bhakti, actually. It helps bhakti. Because then you know that he's a kid. He really feels hungry, because, as a kid, you may think God cannot feel hungry. But actually, Krishna actually feels, no, I am hungry. Because that's the rule that Yogamaya said. After this thing, you are supposed to get hungry. That's what he feels. Oh, I am supposed to be hungry. That's it. So I'm God, I don't get hungry and stuff like that. But I'm hungry. I'm supposed to get hungry here. And this devotee is not feeding me. Why is not feeding me? He's supposed to feed me, right? And that's how he actually goes into that. Like, I get hungry. This is my time to feed prasad. So, of course, everything is divya. He never gets spiritually, hunger, all these things are nothing. They don't exist, actually. But then Krishna, actually, this is a paradoxical thing. They don't exist in the sense, the hunger is very beautiful there in the spiritual world. Even hunger is pleasurable. No, there is no pain in the spiritual world. But that doesn't mean that there is no pain. Doesn't mean that he cannot get hungry. He can actually get hungry, because that's what he's supposed to do in the game. Like, he's like, right now I'm supposed to get hungry, and he's used to that. Like, he's used to that particular thing. Oh, this time I'm supposed to get feeding, and that's how he exchanges love with his devotees. And he doesn't care. Like, I'm supposed to get hungry now. Why is he not feeling me? So that's natural for him. Knowing that he's God, still he feels hungry. And when you know that aspect of God, that he's so simple that he feels hungry, even though he knows he's God, and that is his true nature, that feeling hungry is his true nature. Getting afraid of Mother Yashoda is actually his true nature. It's not that he's acting, he actually gets hungry, because of his emotions, because of his Ladini Shakti. He gets hunger. He's hungry for the devotee's love. He's afraid of Mother Yashoda because of love for Mother Yashoda. So it's all natural for Krishna. He actually does feel that. When you understand that knowledge about Krishna, that knowledge is the ultimate knowledge about Krishna. And that knowledge will not stop your devotional service. Then you will feed Krishna. Oh no, Krishna still gets hungry. Yes, Krishna is still afraid of Mother Yashoda. Oh no, I have to do this, I have to do that for Krishna. I can still chastise Krishna even though he's God. So when you know his true nature of Krishna, then your devotion is not impeded by knowledge. So that's my point, which is already discussed last time also. Hare Krishna.